Look, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be just a bit of a Nintendo fanboy. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. So, there is going to be a top 10 video game figures list after this, but this list is just Nintendo figures. Usual rules apply. These aren't the top 10 Nintendo figures that came out in 2023, just the ones I bought in 2023. None of these guys made it on the list. These are all just figures I really heavily considered just because I liked all of them. And you will find that, yes, I have a lot of love for the Mario Bros. Movie and the toy line it had, but these guys didn't quite make the list. We are now going to get into the 10 that really did have something special to them, though. The 10 that I can look back on and say, yeah, Jakks may just know what they're doing with these Nintendo lines. Yeah, I'm giving number 10 to Peach's Fursona. Listen, this is literally just the only decently articulated Peach figure ever made. Because it's not a dress, you're able to get a good couple good positions for those joints. And, you know, at the end of the day, the cat power-up is a really good one. And I do think that the Cat Peach is a fun little color layout. It's a good figure. There's some obvious jokes to be made, and in fact I did just make one. But it's still one of the best Princess Peach figures out there, so I feel like it deserves a little bit of credit for that. At number 9, I still remember when I unboxed this guy out of one of the Kirby blind boxes. This little sleeping Kirby stress ball is so cute. It's just the best, man. It really is. It's Sleep Power Up Kirby. How can you hate this? Getting to the first of many Mario movie figures on this list, of course it had to be Toad. Toad probably is the weakest of the main cast in terms of the figure he got, but this is still a decent one. I always love the fact that he has the big backpack. It kind of reminds me of Captain Toad. And, I mean, it's probably the best figure Toad's ever going to get, let's be honest. And I do wish he had a little bit more articulation, but at the same time, where would you put it? I would have to place Toad's boss above him on the list, but not by much. Peach is more or less not a figure from the waist down, but at least it's accurate to the movie. It's very ornate, a great looking Peach figure. I just wish there was more here, I'll be honest. I could have some pretty similar complaints with Comic, but at the same time it's Comic. Comic is like one of my favorite Mario characters for no other reason than just I like the idea that he's Bowser's gay adoptive dad. And this is a good figure of Comic. Not a lot of articulation, but what you have does work. Get a few decent poses with the guy. The paint's great, the sculpting's great. I really do enjoy this Comic. One of these standout figures of the line for me, and one that I'm really happy we got, I'll be honest. We're getting into the top 5 now. We had to give some love to Luigi. I do think the Mario came out a bit better from this line, but Luigi was still a really well done figure. One that looks just like he does in the movie, and let's be honest, Charlie Day kind of killed it as Luigi. One of my favorite things about this Luigi is this is one of the few Luigi figures that you can actually kind of get his knees buckling together, which is great to get that lovable coward energy across, but Mario just had a little bit more going for him. Speaking of, look at that, Mario is in the top 4. A really well done Mario, one of the best we've ever received, and probably the best we ever got from Jakks. I do have some complaints with the guy. The articulation can be a little bit wonky, and I wish he had a better accessory than just this plunger, but still, one of the best figures from the movie line. And let's be honest, the Mario movie was actually pretty solid. I don't think it was as great as I thought it was the night it came out, but definitely still a really neat, fun animated film from the year, and one that is probably going to just continue to be successful down the line. I know they're already doing a sequel. I think Donkey Kong's getting a spin-off. We'll have to see how it goes. But still, a movie that surprised me, a toy line that surprised me, and a Mario that definitely earned its spot. You want to know something I never expected? To really fall in love with a Samus figure. I'm not the biggest fan of the Metroid games, and yet, when Jakks did their Metroid Prime Samus, this figure is amazing. For $10, it is incredibly well articulated, the paint looks great, it looks just like the character model does in the game, and it's just fun to mess around with. Samus is a figure and a design that is really hard to translate sometimes, and this figure really does just hit it out of the park. I was not expecting to like it more than basically any Mario figure I got this year, and yet, here we are. The only thing that could have made it better is, as you can see, there's a little bit of a light behind the visor. It would have been cool if maybe we could have seen like Samus's eyes or something, but that's really grasping at straws. A very fun figure, a very neat looking figure, one of the best that Jakks has ever put out. And then number 2 is Big Monkey. So, Toysite apparently just put out a Funky Kong. I've literally never heard of this line. I've never, like, knew this was a figure that was out there. I just found it. And it's amazing. It's Funky Kong. Look at him. Now, there's a lot of issues with my figure. Paint scraped off, stuff like that. But it's Funky Kong. It's amazing. It's not well articulated. It doesn't really look like he does nowadays, but fuck it, man. It's Funky Kong. What else do you need? Finally, at number 1, it had to be the Mario movie Bowser. Bowser's my favorite Nintendo character. This is the best figure of Bowser I've ever messed with. He breathes fire, for God's sake. He was the best thing from the movie. Jack Black killed it. I adore this figure. One of my absolute favorite toys of the year. One of my favorite Nintendo toys ever made. My favorite take on Bowser. It is just a sublime toy. I really, really enjoy it, and I couldn't imagine putting a single figure above it on this list. So there you have it, my top 3 of the year for Nintendo figures. We have a couple more lists to go, but again, I just want to thank everyone for, sticking with me, getting into 2024 with me. We have a couple more of these lists to go, and then we can get back to the proper reviews, but it's just nice, man. It's nice to kind of reflect back on these, think of some of the reviews I made, some of the reviews I wanted to make, and just kind of enjoy how things have turned out here on YouTube after a year in. Past that, put Funky Kong in Smash, because this team, yeah? I don't know why, but it's working for me.